Today, the National Association of Realtors released new data showing the housing market has seen better times. Home sales fell to the lowest level in 9 months in June. That's dropping nearly 3% from May.
The story of America's housing market is no longer just about numbers and charts. It has become a full-blown crisis that is hitting families directly in their homes and their future. Prices have soared so high that owning a home feels like a dream slipping away, while desperate homeowners are pulling equity from their houses just to survive. Foreclosures are rising, buyers are walking away from deals, and inventory is flooding the market at a pace we haven't seen in years. All of this points to a harsh reality. The American dream is slowly turning into an American collapse. Today we are going to dive deep into this unfolding disaster. But before we begin, if you want to stay updated with this kind of analysis, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss what comes next. The American housing market is entering a stage that many experts are calling one of the most dangerous in modern history. For years, people were told that buying a home was the safest and most reliable way to build wealth. But the latest data shows that this promise is starting to collapse under its own weight. The median home price has risen to levels far beyond what the average family can afford, reaching nearly $420,000, while incomes have failed to keep up. This affordability gap has created a situation where more than half of American households are locked out of the market entirely, unable to buy even the most basic homes. Families who dreamed of stability through homeownership are now finding themselves on the edge of financial ruin. One of the most alarming developments is the surge in cash-out refinances. Families who already own homes are going back to their banks, pulling money out of their equity just to pay bills or cover daily expenses. This isn't a strategy for growth. It is a desperate move to survive. People are accepting higher interest rates, even adding hundreds of dollars to their monthly payments, just so they can take out cash to cover debts, medical costs, or simple living expenses. This shows how fragile the middle class has become. Even homeowners with strong credit scores, people who once seemed financially secure, are being crushed by rising property taxes, soaring insurance premiums, and wages that simply don't stretch far enough anymore. At the same time, housing prices in many regions are starting to crack. Cities that saw huge price booms during the pandemic, like Austin and Phoenix, are now facing sharp declines. Listings are piling up, with nearly 1 in 4 sellers forced to cut their asking prices. Builders are panicking too, slashing prices on new homes in order to move inventory, which has reached the highest levels in over a decade. For the first time in history, new homes are now cheaper than existing homes, a clear sign of a market that is breaking under pressure. The idea of a housing shortage, a story that was used to justify skyrocketing prices, is also falling apart. There are millions of vacant homes across the country, but they are priced so high that ordinary families cannot afford them. This has created a strange situation where supply is growing, but demand is vanishing. For many who bought during the peak years, the nightmare is already here. Hundreds of thousands of families now owe more on their mortgages than their homes are worth, a condition known as being underwater. This traps them in a cycle of financial pain. They can't sell without losing money, but they also can't keep up with rising costs. Foreclosures, which had slowed during the pandemic due to government protections, are now surging again. Families who stretched themselves to the limit to buy during the boom are now finding the dream ripped away, with banks preparing to take back their homes. The broader economic picture makes this collapse even more dangerous. Inflation has driven up the cost of everything from food to gas, leaving families with less disposable income to put toward housing. At the same time, interest rates have remained high, making mortgages even more expensive. For a median-priced home, a buyer now needs to earn over $120,000 a year just to qualify, but most families make far less than that. Renters aren't safe either. Rents have skyrocketed, with half of all renters now paying more than they can reasonably afford. For many, the dream of saving for a home has vanished entirely, replaced by the harsh reality of just trying to make rent each month. What makes this situation especially dangerous is that it is not just about housing. Housing markets have always been closely tied to the broader economy. When homes lose value, people feel poorer and cut back on spending, which then drags down businesses, jobs, and growth. If millions of homeowners end up underwater, foreclosures rise, and consumer spending falls, the entire economy could tip into a deeper recession. Unlike past housing downturns, this one comes at a time when the middle class is already weakened by years of stagnant wages, high debt, and rising costs. Looking ahead, the future of the American housing market seems uncertain and dark. If prices continue to fall, many more families will be caught in negative equity, unable to move or refinance. If interest rates stay high, demand will remain frozen. And if inflation doesn't ease, even homeowners who are currently stable could be pushed into desperation. The story of the American housing market is no longer just about numbers or trends. It's about a system that is unraveling in plain sight. Families who once believed their home would secure their future are now watching that very same roof turn into a financial trap. Sellers are panicking, buyers are disappearing, foreclosures are climbing, and millions of people are being priced out entirely. This isn't the soft correction that policymakers promised. It looks more like the controlled demolition of a dream that defined generations. If you want to keep following this unfolding crisis and understand every twist before it happens, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because what's coming next may shake the very core of the American economy.